Chief, y'all were going to talk about that. And the Wilsons will be here at 5 o'clock, I'm sure, to talk to us about that. They're not here, I don't believe, now.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You're,
We created the soft file, it's 50/50.
what now? What'd you say? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they apply. We gave.
I can't hear. He's fine with it. Fine with it now. They're okay now. They straightened up.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. They've been kind of closed. We really haven't had any issues out there. We've been monitoring like we're supposed to. Really no issues, concerns. I think that we will continue to monitor any business that are open. But in terms of trying to close them today, we just don't have enough to make that happen.
Okay. Leave them alone. Okay. Very good. All right. Family Dollar's got to be here this afternoon to get there. We've already been through Family Dollar a couple of times with them. So.
I called corporate office.
Huh?
I said I called corporate office and told them. They said that they would arrange for somebody to be here. So.
And they'll be here. Okay. All right. Yeah, we've been done that twice.
Y'all can.
All right. Then on number 3,
It'll be up to y'all.
who's handling number 3 is a rezoning by the Planning Commission. Anybody here in the Planning Department? Don't see anybody. I think that was recommended by the Planning. Number 5 is it's a private street. Okay, recommended by the Planning Department, but it's a private street, and we'll have a hearing on that. Okay. Item number 6. Mr. Mitchell? Okay.
And also special events.
And that would be, would raise some revenue for the city?
Yes, sir, it will.
Okay. Any questions, council? Okay. All right, number 7, this sets the election for District 1. And that,
It says it for July the 13th and the runoff on August the 24th. The candidates will start qualifying May the 11th through May the 25th.
May the 11th?
Yes, sir. May the 11th through the 25th.
Okay.
We're having to work around the election center has elections in May and June. That's why we're having to space it out the way we are.
Okay.
I got, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
I had talked with Ms. Blaylock about this. I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. But I want to state that if we're going to change the rule to say that, the ordinance to say that the council will set an election date, nobody kind of asked us anything. Nobody said anything else. They just did it. We sat down with the election center calendar and came up when it was best for them. We never did that before. So
Well,
I just
I
think
think it's a special deal because you got the runoff in District 3, and then you got the 78 deal, then you got 78 has to have a runoff in it, and this one fits in between all that. So I think that's our real problem. I've never seen one with this many different elections at one time.
Yeah, we done had something similar to this though, but
Very
I
unusual.
think we should, the city council.
And I'm with you. I'd like to have this thing over quick because I'm having to answer the calls.
Okay.
All right. Number 8 and 9 is Mr. Stokes supposed to be here to talk to us about.
Yeah, do we have a recommendation, Mr. President, already?
You do?
Have they complied with what we asked them to do 2 weeks ago?
They've done it.
No, this ain't
Free
the
mic.
money. This is supposed to clean up the pallet shop.
What's going on? What you got?
Yes, sir. Mr. Stokes, when we inspected him on March 3rd, we found in the National Fire Code, he broke actually a fire code unobstructed, he already obstructed the fire access lane, or fire access roads. He has since made some progress on doing that. He has created us a fire access road where we can actually get back there if we need to. but he still has a whole host of other violations. I actually have a couple pictures to show you. If y'all would like to see them now, or you want to wait to work session is totally.
Well, he's not here now, is
okay. No, sir, he's not.
he? Well, we just hold the pictures till 5 o'clock.
Okay, all right.
Okay. But you bet you're happier with him than you were.
Yes, sir, I am. He still, like I said, he's still got a lot of. I mean, he did what I asked him to do as far as the access road,
Okay.
but he still has actually a lot of other violations that needs to be corrected
Okay.
as soon as he can.
So you're saying that he can still operate under conditions you got now?
Well, I mean, he's going to definitely have to have some more time to move the pallets that he needs.
Okay.
But like I said, he needs to do it as soon as he can. But he actually unobstructed the access road that I needed.
He did the
to
first
do.
thing for you?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. President, I know
started.
he's
Okay.
done the
County.
access road, and I know what the fire department is saying. I wouldn't want to take this completely off the agenda. If we give him, 2 more weeks or 2 more weeks to go ahead and complete the things that you're asking them to do, since they did the fire access lanes. That was the thing that we asked them to do before
Yes.
April the 6th.
Yes, I'm gonna leave that up to y'all as
Okay.
far as that goes. But I mean, it's gonna take him some more time to do it. But I mean, it just needs to be done as soon as possible, definitely.
But I think if we just move this off the agenda, it won't get done. But if we let him know he's gonna come back and those things need to be continued to
Right,
make progress.
Keep pressure on.
Right, that's
Okay.
correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, say 2 weeks, man.
All right, number 10. This is Escape. Escape is, Mr. Calhoun, you been involved in that one?
What was
Number
that
10.
Number 10? I think they're paid in full, from what I understand, right?
Yeah, I think so. We're in good shape on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 11. This one's in my district, it's okay. In the PJ, it's good. Number 12, Troy Market on Troy Highway. I understand we got some opposition to that one. Is that correct, Mr. Mitchell?
Which one?
Number 12, Troy Highway.
Yeah, I have some of my neighborhood president associations that will be here to speak on
Number 12.
Where
Okay.
you stand at on it, Mr. Mitchell? Where
Huh?
you stand on it?
No, we
You don't know yet?
no.
Okay.
We don't want.
Okay.
No, we can wait. You want to wait until? We gonna wait until?
Okay.
I'd wait till 5 o'clock because we do it at 5 o'clock. I'm sorry. But unless you just want to do it now. I mean, I think they're coming, other people coming at 5. So let's do it at 5 o'clock. Number 13 is Clean City Placement. 14, Clean City. 15, Clean City. All right, number 16 has been withdrawn.
Yes, sir.
Number 17, we got a number of homes to be torn down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11 today. That's sad.
That's not him, because it's on Mill Street.
A lot of these in District 3, I recognize. Got any questions on that?
Do we have the information that we requested on that? 'Cause it was, I know that the property is gone, but we wanted to make sure that we did the proper procedures. So do we have the information to defend what we did?
It's in your packet.
It is? Okay.
Number 17. They sent over all the
sorry.
letters and everything.
I
that's in
jumped
the
ahead.
package.
Because he did say 2 services had to go out, but if I understood Mr. Hodges correct, he said that one went to the property and one went to his home. Is that correct? We did send it out to 2 separate places?
He said that. I don't think Brandon's not here. Is Brandon?
Yep, well, I got the information.
Oh, I'm looking at,
Based on the information that was given out, Mr. Slater did not respond in a timely manner before the property was torn down, so therefore it was demolition. And so he replied afterward. We did send it to notices, yeah.
because I think he said one to the property and one to.
One to him, yeah. So he didn't reply.
He never did, and I don't think he has since then, has he? He was given a plan.
That was the old greenhouse,
Okay, we'll, at 5 o'clock, we'll cover that one, okay? All right, number 18 is the abatement Number 19 is the additional demolition. 11 of those on Cherry Street, Plum Street, really going after that area there. Hate it, but they got to come down. They're bad looking. They're awful in District 3. Number 20, unsafe structures and lots there. More demolition costs. Wow. Okay. 21 is the abatement. Okay. Codes. All right. That gets us down to number 22. Number 22, we have some officers that would like to speak to us.
In terms of trying to close them today, we just don't have enough to make that happen.
Okay, leave them alone. Okay, very good. All right, Family Dollar's got to be here this afternoon to get there. We've already been through Family Dollar a couple of times with them. So,
I called corporate office.
huh?
I said I called corporate office and told them, they said that they would arrange for somebody to be here, so.
And they'll be here. Okay. All right. Yeah, we've been done that twice.
Y'all can.
All right, then on number 3,
if you want to. It'll be up to y'all.
who's handling number 3 is a rezoning by the Planning Commission. By anybody here from the Planning Department? Don't see anybody. I think that was recommended by the planning. Number 5 is it's a private street. Okay, recommended by the planning department, but it's a private street, and we'll have a hearing on that. Okay. Item number 6, Mr. Mitchell.
For,
Okay.
and also special events.
And that would be would raise some revenue for the city.
Yes, sir, it will be.
Okay. Any questions, council? Okay. All right, number 7, this sets the election for District 1. And that,
It says it for July the 13th and the runoff on August the 24th. The candidates will start qualifying May the 11th through May the 25th.
May the 11th?
Yes, sir, May the 11th through the 25th.
Okay.
We're having to work around, the election center has elections in May and June. That's why we're having to space it out the way we are.
Okay.
I got, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
I had talked with Ms. Blaylock about this. I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. But I want to state that if we're going to change the rule to say that, the ordinance to say that the council will set an election date, nobody kind of asked us anything. Nobody said anything to us. They just did it. We sat down with the election center calendar and came up when it was best for them. We never did that before. So
Well,
I just
I
think
think it's a special deal because you got the runoff in District 3, and then you got the 78 deal, then you got 78 has to have a runoff in it, and this one fits in between all that. So I think that's our real problem. I've never seen one with this many different elections at one time.
Yeah, we done had something similar to this though, but
Very
I
unusual.
think we should, the city council.
Yeah, I'm with you.
should-
I'd like to have this thing over quick because I'm having to answer calls. So,
Okay.
all right. Number 8 and 9 is Mr. Stokes supposed to be here to talk to us about.
Yeah, do we have a recommendation, Mr. President, already?
You do?
Have they complied with what we asked them to do 2 weeks ago?
They've done it.
No, this ain't
Where you
the
mic?
money. This is supposed to clean up the pallet shop.
What's going on? What you got?
Yes, sir. Mr. Stokes, we inspected him on March 3rd. We found in the National Fire Code, he broke actually a fire code, unobstructed, he already obstructed the fire access lane, or fire access roads. He has since made some progress on doing that. He has created us a fire access road where we can actually get back there if we need to. But he still has a whole host of other violations. I actually have a couple pictures to show you. If y'all would like to see them now, or you want to wait to work session, is totally
Well,
up to y'all.
he's not here now, is he?
Okay. No, sir, he's not.
Well, we just hold the pictures till 5 o'clock.
Okay, all right.
Okay. But you bet you're happier with him than you were.
Yes, sir, I am. He still, like I said, he's still got a lot of, I mean, he did what I asked him to do as far as the access road,
Okay,
but he still has actually a lot of other violations that needs to be corrected
Okay.
as soon as he can.
so you're saying that he can still operate under conditions you got now?
Well, I mean, he's going to definitely have to have some more time to move the pallets that he needs.
Okay,
But like I said, he needs to do it as soon as he can. But he actually unobstructed the access road that I
he
needed
did
to
the first
do.
thing for you?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. President, I know
started.
he's
Okay,
done the
Calvin.
access road, and I know what the fire department is saying. I wouldn't want to take this completely off the agenda. If we give him, 2 more weeks or 2 more weeks to go ahead and complete the things that you're asking them to do, since they did the fire access lanes. That was the thing that we asked them to do before
Yes.
April the 6th.
Yes, I'm gonna leave that up to y'all as
Okay.
far as that goes. But I mean, it's gonna take him some more time to do it. But I mean, it just needs to be done as soon as possible, definitely.
But I think if we just move this off the agenda, it won't get done. But if we let him know he's gonna come back and those things need to be continued to
Right,
make progress.
Keep pressure
Right.
on.
Right, that's
Okay.
correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say 2 weeks.
All right, number 10. This is Escape. Escape is, Mr. Calhoun, you been involved in that one?
What was
Number
that
10.
Number 10? I think they're paid in full from what I understand, right?
Yeah, I think so. We're in good shape on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 11. This one's in my district, it's okay. In the PJ, it's good. Number 12, Troy Market on Troy Highway. I understand we got some opposition to that one. Is that correct, Mr. Mitchell?
Which one?
Number 12, Troy Highway.
Yeah, I have some of my neighborhood president associations that will be here to speak on
Number 12.
Where
Okay.
you stand at on it, Mr. Mitchell? Where you stand on it?
No, we
You don't know yet?
no.
Okay.
We don't want.
Okay.
No, we can wait. You want to wait until we're gonna wait until.
Okay.
I'd wait till 5 o'clock because we'll do it at 5 o'clock. Sorry. Unless you just want to do it now. I mean, I think they're coming, other people coming at 5. So do it at 5 o'clock. Number 13 is Clean City Placement. 14, Clean City. 15, Clean City. All right, number 16 has been withdrawn.
Yes, sir.
Number 17, we got a number of homes to be torn down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11 today. That's sad.
That's not him, because it's on Mill Street.
A lot of these in District 3, I recognize. Got any questions on that?
Do we have the information that we requested on that? 'Cause I know the property is gone, but we wanted to make sure that we did the proper procedures. So do we have the information to defend what we did?
It's in your packet,
It is? Okay.
number 17. They sent over all
I'm
the
sorry.
letters and everything.
I
that's in
jumped
the
ahead.
packet.
Because he did say 2 services had to go out, but if I understood Mr. Hodges correct, he said that one went to the property and one went to his home. Is that correct? We did send it out to 2 separate places?
He said that. I don't think Brandon's not here. Is Brandon?
Yeah, well, I got the information.
Oh, I'm looking at,
Based on the information that was given out, Mr. Slater did not respond in a timely manner before the property was torn down, so therefore it was demolition. And so he replied afterward. We did send it to notices, yeah.
because I think you said one to the property and
One to him, yeah. So he didn't reply.
He never did, and I don't think he has since then, has he?
And
He was
sent it
given a
back.
plan.
That was the old greenhouse,
Okay, at 5 o'clock we'll cover that one, okay? All right, number 18 is the abatement. Number 19 is the additional demolition. 11 of those on Cherry Street, Plum Street, really going after that area there. Hate it, but they got to come down. They're bad looking. They're awful in District 3. Number 20, unsafe structures and lots there. More demolition costs. Wow. Okay. 21 is the abatement. Okay. Codes. All right. That gets us down to number 22. Number 22, we have some officers that would like to speak to us.
In order to give you a full picture of what our complaint is, there's no way that we can say that in 3 minutes.
Well, I think if you want to, how many folks want to speak?
On last Tuesday, we was here, we were told to cut it down to 4 people speaking.
4 people?
Yes.
All right. My rule is 3 minutes. I mean, you can tell us most of what you're going to say. I mean, we're not the judge. We're just here to listen to that you've got an issue. Give us those issues in 3 minutes, and all 4 of you give us a different one. Okay?
Well, sir, each and every last one of us has different issues. And I outlined that in the letter that I sent to the City Council back on March the 2nd. As officer, we didn't choose for this meeting to be had like this. We sent that letter hoping that the council would contact us in reference to doing this in a different setting where we would have the allotted time needed to explain to the council what our grievance was. Now, the council chose not to respond to that, so I end up 14 days later sending another letter to the council explaining that the lack of a response, what that said to officers when it comes to filing complaints.
You sent a letter to the council?
Yes, I addressed it to each and every last council member. The first letter was only, I got a response from once. The second letter that I sent, I got a response from Ms. Graham.
Okay, we referred to the mayor. Okay. We know what you're talking about. Yeah. So we got that. And we referred it to the mayor's office. Right.
Mr. President, can I ask a question?
What's that?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If it's only 4 of them talking, if we gave an additional hour just to hear them.
Yeah, we can give them. You want to give them some more extra time? If council wants to give extra time, it's council's decision. Anybody want to give more than 3 minutes?
Mr. President,
Yes,
just based on our rules, and I respect what you're saying, but based on the council sponsorship is the reason why we put it on the agenda. So we really don't have a time limit when it comes to that, but you can cut it off whenever you want to.
Well, we'll move it up to 5 minutes each, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, go ahead.
They gonna speak now? And in council? They gonna speak in council.
Your name?
My name is Sergeant Thaggart. I'm assigned to the training division of the Montgomery Police Academy. And I had already had I was given a request to actually speak with Mayor Reed, but I just want to come out and say first that I have been blocked on every level that's possible. And they've just been totally unacceptable to kind of start off. And last week when we came down here last week, we had already knew that it was already a risk to come down here and actually try to speak before the council And from that, after that happened, it came to our understanding that Chief Finley had ordered and assigned his crew, or his posse, as I like to refer to it, as Major Rucker and also Captain Bowens, to actually get to a point to actually see, can they actually dig up any dirt on the officers that was coming down here. But regardless of any of that, the facts are the facts. That's not going to change anything. So I also prepared a package for actually Mayor Reed itself, and one of your executives also has it. But I'm just going to jump into some things real quick. It all started back on dealing with an issue with one of my actual training officers in training, where someone's in the police academy, and they end up suffering improper contact with the assistant division commander, Lieutenant Carlisle. And she was actually subject to threats, her job, and also even threatened to remove me from the police academy, and made these abrupt and threatening behavior and responses. So I was actually, in being in my position, however, any type hostile work environment, according to the city handbook, and also I have a duty to report that to my division commander as well, in which I prepared an actual statement so that could happen, and also had her to actually prepare a statement so I can actually turn those statements in. So once that happened, something happened where I didn't receive her actual statement, not knowing unto me at the time where she was actually coerced to change her statement, which I have that statement right here. She was, as it says, put a general synopsis of what happened, and not very in detail. So, 'cause I had already turned my statement in to my captain already, and that came between my captain, Captain Miller, and also Major Rucker, was the one that coerced us to actually produce this statement. And once I kind of figured out what was going on, because I called and asked her about the statement, because I knew I had to turn in by the end of the business day. That didn't happen. Just didn't happen. So I called and asked about the statement, and she said that she had already gave it to my captain, and she supplied me with this statement. I say no, and I knew then the cover-up was just about to start. I understood it was about to start. It was about to be, they was about to cover for this man again. Lieutenant Carlisle has an issue when it comes to actual female cadets in the police academy. And once I actually got that complaint, and I actually asked her to give it to me, and I went and opened up an internal affairs investigation against him for such, because this is not the first time this has happened. This happened back on September 28, 2019, where another female cadet came inappropriate contact, touching, and all these things happened. I forwarded up a complaint, which I did my due diligence again. At the time, my Captain Gambrell forwarded it up to the chain of command, and by the next day morning, he knew about the complaint. It was never investigated. I had that right here as well. It was never investigated. So when it comes to him, nothing happens, because at the end of the day, he's a part of Chief Finley's posse. And he's the one that does Chief Finley bidding for him. From the point of, and I even had documentation of misappropriation of funds as well, that I will actually get to in a few minutes. And I probably can't do it in 5 minutes, because I have a lot of different issues that need to be discussed.
You can always leave your information here.
I'm sorry?
You can leave your information with us.
Well, I already prepared for Mayor Reed, and dealing with some issues that I have encountered from his chief of staff office as well, with some resistance. I'm only confident I also gave to his executive officer so he can hear it, but I'm not going to give that information to anybody else. I have given y'all a general synopsis of my bullet points to there and all that, but as far as that goes, I'm just going to make sure I trust Mayor Reed with this. From my understanding, he's a man of integrity. I'm not saying you're not, but I gave my full package to him, and I'm just going to go with that. And that's why I'm going about that.
Okay, thank you.
And also, while we're on the subject of actual cover-up, and also I also have laid out the actual policy violations where Lieutenant Carlisle has actually been subject to, and what he has violated when it comes to dealing with the actual cadets at the police academy. And also, we want to discuss some things that totally made me completely uncomfortable while we're in the area of cover-ups and things. In my hand right here, I have training reports of a class that graduated from the Montgomery Police Academy. And we have a FTO program with the field training program that's set in place that when they graduate the police academy, they got to go through another training phase with certified FTOs that actually get to a point where they can get certified, they can ride by themselves, that they meet all the basic minimums that they can ride by themselves as a independent police officer. And it's outlined in the rule books where it says that these people have to be trained by a certified FTO officer. Certified. They got to go through a course, be trained, and to be able to accurately evaluate these particular new police officers. But, Mary, you have police officers on the city of Montgomery that is not properly trained and has subject this city to litigation, civil litigation. Because what I have in my hand right here is where you have municipal jail, which is a civilian employment status, signing off on DORs, daily observation reports for police officers that have not been trained to do such.
Okay.
Now, and there is something called the doctrine of deliberate indifference. And that is where agency failed to train police officers, and they go out and do something, or they violate someone's amendment's rights, or do something egregious that comes back and hold the actual city liable because they actually failed to train. Okay. And also, in that federal statute is 42 USC 1983.
We understand that.
It's a statute, and going forward with that, these are municipal jail, and some of these reports says the police officer gave food today.
Okay. Well, you want to hold on to those. We've heard your issues. We know where you're at. Your time's up, okay?
My time is up? Okay,
yes.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Mary, if at some point, if I can talk with you more, I understand my 5 minutes up, but it's go a lot deeper than just this. I'm getting to the point of misappropriation of funds, conspiracy to misappropriation of funds as well.
Okay.
Which involves your chiefs as well.
Thank you. Who's next?
Taggart.
Good afternoon to Mayor Reed and City Council.
Your name?
My name is Officer Booker. I'm employed in the City of Montgomery. I'm a police officer. I'm just a brief and background on myself. I'm a 4-year veteran of U.S. Army active duty. After I left there in 2016, I joined the police department here at Montgomery. A year later, after getting out of the police academy, I was in a traumatic event, a police shooting that happened here in February 2018. I'm putting myself out there because this is just that important to me. I haven't spoken out since then, kind of been behind and everything, just doing my job with that. A year later, I joined the Montgomery SWAT team. Went through a year of rigorous training to become one of the best Montgomery SWAT team. Feel like a well-deserved position that I earned and put my time, effort, and everything I could into it to serve the city of Montgomery. A year after being on the SWAT team, I was involved in another officer-involved shooting. As you may remember, it happened last August. On the previous one in 2018, I suffered a panic attack on scene. I have asthma that kicked in during that time. I was transported probably about 5-10 minutes after, and this is in 2018, to the hospital to receive treatment from a panic attack, anxiety attack that all was happening on scene. Well, this time in August of 2020, the same panic attack, anxiety attack, and I was told by Chief Reeves, I was told by Major Hall, and I was told by Major Rucker that I could not leave the scene from any kind of medical treatment. I requested myself a rescue unit on scene to check my blood pressure and my well-being, my vitals on scene. They advised that I need to seek medical treatment and be transported to the hospital. They asked me if I wanted to go by ambulance. I said, no, there's plenty of officers here on scene that could transport me. And I was told by my immediate supervisor, sergeant, lieutenants on scene that I could be transported to the hospital. As they Went up to ask the Chief Reeves, Major Rucker, and Major Hall, could I be transported to hospital? The answer was no, that I could not be transported to hospital. I was mandated to sit in a police vehicle enclosed, further helping with my anxiety attack, panic attack that was happening on scene while bystanders were standing around with their cameras, videoing me, videoing the whole scene. I have a family. I love Montgomery. I've been here 4 years. I have a whole family that lives right here in the city of Montgomery on the north side of Montgomery. With everything that's going on in today's time, officers' information are put out there quickly, as it was in the first shooting of 2018. That also exacerbated my panic attack, anxiety attack, and asthma that was occurring on scene. I stayed on scene for 3 hours, 3 whole hours, refused medical treatment by those 3 that's in the command staff. Further, I was involved in an investigation on the shooting incident, a self-to-city investigations. During that investigation, I made a complaint to a supervisor down there in Internal Affairs about my treatment refusal of medical treatment. He told me, okay, I will send it up to the chief's office and they will hear word of this. I sat back, waited to hear something, so maybe if myself get another police shooting incident, unfortunately, or another officer, that they're not in that same predicament where they're told to sit in the vehicle for 3 hours while they're suffering, along with that PTSD of sitting out there on scene after that event in itself. After that, I didn't hear anything for about 2 months. In January, I finally made a formal complaint done to city investigations. I have still not heard anything from them. That was 3 months later. But what I have received is retaliation. Then open investigations have been happening on me back from June 2020, December 2020, and I've been found to violate a subject's Fourth Amendment rights, which I found that I did not do because the subject ran from us, fought with us, and I searched the vehicle with our inventory in correspondence with our inventory policy and the Supreme Court with probable cause that appeal body was sitting in plain view. I was still told no, that wasn't enough. So I requested a meeting with the chief, Chief Finley. I went into his office, expecting high hopes. I printed off several Supreme Court cases, our own inventory policy, backing up the facts that I was presenting. Before I said a word, my recommended disciplinary action was 11 reprimands. I go in the chief's office before I say a word. It was a 1-day suspension. I'm a sole income family. It's just myself. My wife doesn't work to take care of the kids. So that would definitely be a financial burden on me, especially during these times. I explained to this 10 minutes or so going off on the inventory, our own inventory policy, Supreme Court. I was told to exit his office for approximately 10 minutes. I come back in the office and I'm told that my recommended disciplinary action would be up to 3-day suspension. A 3-day suspension without an actual explanation on why would I need a search warrant for this incident. I left that office mentally frustrated, knowing that everything that I gave to this Montgomery Police Department. All right, so time is up. I'm wrapping it up, sir.
Okay, wrap up. Okay.
And everything that I gave to this police department, I feel like I was betrayed by the police department and Chief Finley that I looked up to. After that, I took 2 weeks leave off. I come back, optimistic, clearing my mind. I'm here half a day before I unfortunately get the notice that my grandmother had passed away. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I don't have any family here in Montgomery besides the one, my wife and my kids. So I immediately went up to Birmingham, notified my supervisors, and told them about my grandmother passing. I was there a week. I didn't receive a call saying, how are you doing? Are you okay? Family okay? Anything like that. But I did receive a call that I would be notified that I would be going back to patrol. My take-home vehicle, weekends off, all that taken from me without an explanation. I asked why. Not one explanation was given to me. So it's just retaliation that myself and a couple other officers have made with as soon as they have a complaint against one of the higher-ups, whether it be Chief Finley, any of the chiefs or majors, that you will receive retaliation for it. I'm standing out here, putting myself out there for this information, and may be retaliated for standing up here and talking to you today, but it's just come to that point. I thank you all for having your ears, from the Mayor Reed, the city council members, and the ones here today. Thank you. God bless.
Yeah. Next person.
How you doing, sir? How you doing, man? Hey, my name is Antavio Ferguson. I was Lieutenant Ferguson before, I guess, June the 30th incident. Just a little bit about myself. I graduated in 2007 from the Police Academy. 2004 I graduated. 2007 I actually won Officer of the Year. Throughout the years I don't receive several commendations. 2013 I actually won Supervisor of the Year.
How many years you been on the force? How many years you been on the force?
Well, I was on the force from 2004 until October 20th, 2020. In 2013, I won Supervisor of the Year and received a life-saving medal for talking somebody off a bridge. Throughout the years, the department has gotten worse up under the staff that we have now. From training, this day and time with training and everything like that, the academy class training has decreased by approximately 6 weeks. The morale in the department is low, but Mayor Reed, as you know, that the crime is up, and that's under the leadership that we have now. The only thing that is consistent within the police department is inconsistent when it comes down to how they do things and the way they discipline people. On June the 30th, I responded to a domestic violence call in which 2 people was actually in cars and one of them was following the other. The aggressor actually rammed this guy car twice. I activated my emergency equipment after receiving the call from dispatch, and we actually went into the Wells Fargo parking lot. If y'all familiar with the areas right here at Madison and Jackson. The aggressor of the 2 actually hit the accelerator, going full speed, T-boning the driver's side of the vehicle, in my opinion, attempting to injure this guy with a deadly weapon, used his car as a deadly weapon. At that particular time, that car went out of control, hit another parked vehicle that was in the parking lot, and I was in between 2 of them. The victim actually got out and was running away. Even though police was there, he was actually running away in fear of his life. The aggressor of the 2 actually approached me as I was getting out of my vehicle, and I intervened. I actually gave this guy several commands, grabbed this guy several different ways, forced him up on a police car that was in the area, causing damage to that particular vehicle. At the end of the day, I actually took him down to the ground and put him in a cardiac submission hold. We was on the ground for 35 to 36 seconds, and I'll get to that later. But the guy was actually handcuffed, where when he was handcuffed, I stood him to his feet where he actually started back fighting with officers while in handcuffs. He was actually forced into the back of a vehicle. During this time, no officer was injured, neither was the suspect. And if you look at his arrest report and everything like that, it would say that. That particular day, on June the 30th, I actually did a statement. And this is my statement right here. I did it. I gave it to my then immediate supervisor, which was Captain Corkin at the time. 13 days later, I was called into Chief Reeves' office, and I was relieved of duty. All right. My captain actually viewed the videotape, saw that there was no wrongdoing, anything like that. On that particular day, he did a statement in reference to his findings and everything like that. He wrote a statement that he originally did, and it's got his name on it, Captain Corcoran and everything like that. If you can see it, it's pretty lengthy. It's 3 different sections, all right? He was actually ordered by Major Hall, then acting Major Hall and Chief Reeves, to change his statement to this, to fit what they wanted it to say. The last line on this one says, no officer statements basically was given to them due to an ongoing city investigation. This statement right here was done June the 30th. This right here was done July the 13th, all right? So throughout the process, I had to go through the hearings and everything like that. I went to Chief Finley's office after Chief Reeves mandatory gave me 20-day suspension. I disagreed with it. Chief Finley upheld it. The thing about Chief Finley upholding it is this. I was told by a person of the command staff, which is now Captain Bowens, that he just promoted Chief Reeves. So Chief Reeves got his ear that he's not going to change anything that she wants. So when I went into his office, just like I thought, Chief Finley kept his head down the whole time. He was actually reading over my investigation file. He didn't pay me attention at all. He got the recording from his office. If you look at it, you would then look at it and know. He asked me one question to actually get a picture, to paint a picture in his mind of what happened. And that question was, so you choked the guy while he was in handcuffs? I said, no, sir. I didn't choke the guy while he was in handcuffs. Just a little more time, sir. October the 20th, I received a letter, a dismissal paper, all right? And just to speed up a little bit, sir. So I went through the hearing with Judge Price, and I pointed out a lot of inconsistencies that during this investigation. And during this investigation, a lot of the inconsistencies was Mr. Bill Baru, who was Director of Internal Investigation, was there. And they showed a video of my body cam while taking this guy into custody. On his statement, it actually says that I had this guy in a choke maneuver for 54 seconds. Me and Bill Baru, we actually counted, and it ended up being more like 34 seconds, 35 seconds. That was inaccurate, and he actually said, I got a recording from the hearing, he actually said it was inaccurate. And it was a lot of other things that was inaccurate that Judge Price, took under advisement. After the hearing, of course, we got the personnel board hearing, which is across the street. The city of Montgomery continued that hearing on November the 10th. It's April now, and I still haven't got it rescheduled yet. Okay. So if I can get some help with that, that would be perfect. Last but not least, I just had a hearing with the A-Post board because Chief Finley tried to take away my certification to be a police officer in the state of Alabama. All right? He went there, we went there. They produced their evidence. They had 3 witnesses. I had 6 witnesses. Chief Reeves got down. She was kind of unprofessional when she was testifying. She said a lot of things that was inaccurate. Afterwards, Chief Finley got down in the same chair. He said the same thing. They actually stopped the meeting twice while Chief Finley was actually testifying. All right? I received this letter basically stating that they found no wrongdoing, and they unanimously voted that they wasn't going to revoke nor suspend my certifications. I'm not sure if y'all familiar with the A-Post board, but they are full of chiefs from other agencies and also sheriffs from other agencies. I got a witness or two that one of the chiefs actually walked up to me and said, hey, look, according to that video, everything you did was right. Nothing you did was wrong.
I think we've heard your story. Thank you.
Here again.
Next.
Like Sergeant Thagger asked, if you don't mind, can I sit down with you or either some people with the council so I can actually give some more insight on how other officers been treated according to how I've been treated?
Again, good afternoon. My name is Marcus Webster. I've been employed with the city of Montgomery for 15 years. First of all, I'd just like to address the council. Last Tuesday, we were informed that we would be given an hour to speak. And I think that the fact that we as officers sent a letter requesting your audience and that we were limited to 5 minutes is kind of disturbing, because these claims, these complaints that we're making, they're not only affecting us, but they're affecting other officers. They're having a direct effect on the city of Montgomery when you're talking about violent crimes, because officers do not trust the leadership that we have. So when we were told that we had an hour, we were expecting that hour to lay out all of our claims, but you will never get an accurate picture in 5 minutes of the level of retaliation, bullying that officers are experienced down at the city of Montgomery under the leadership that we currently have. So I'd just like to put that out there, and I'll go into what I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you. My first situation dealing with retaliation with Chief Finley started back really when the mayor first took office. He saw me in the gym. He told me about some issues that the city council and the mayor's office was having with clubs. He stated that he wanted us to, and I'm going to kind of condense this for the sake of time. He told us that he wanted us to send some undercover officers into the clubs to video them smoking dope, selling dope, and having guns in there. At the time, I was assigned to the Special Operations Division. So me and another lieutenant met with him. He laid out what he wanted. We went back to the office. We discussed how we were going to execute that plan. We ran across some issues with that plan, but how he wanted us to do it. When it came to officer safety, we didn't have the manpower to send officers up in the club and do it in a safely manner. The fact that we needed a cover team, and in that type of setting, a cover team would not be able to listen to the equipment and hear if an officer's in trouble. We couldn't ensure the safety of the general public. We have already had intel that people that were smuggling guns, they were paying off security to get guns in there. So if we had to send officers in there to get an officer out or a CI, we couldn't assure the safety of those people that just come to the clubs because they like the atmosphere. That everybody in there isn't a drug dealer or in there smoking dope. Then the last thing was a liability. With all those factors, we looked at it like if we didn't take the right precaution and we sent these officers in here or a CI here and something happened, the city itself and us as supervisors who put our name on that ops plan is now liable for whatever transpired. So we then went to our then captain, Captain Rucker. We explained to him, hey, these are the issues that we see with the plan that Chief Finley wants us to execute. He said, okay, I understand what y'all are saying. When y'all see him, y'all need to tell him about these problems that y'all having. We're looking like, okay, well, you are next in command. You are the one that should be passing this information along. So we tried to come up with another idea. We reached out to the ABC board, who we have worked with before, to do some club checks on these clubs that we had complaints on. So they agreed, because usually what we do, we get up with the ABC board, the fire department, they go in, they do license check. And in that setting, when they usually see police, what always happens, they throw the dope on the ground, they put guns in the trash can, hide them in the restroom, and we've been able to confiscate those items based off of that. So we got those plans. But before we can inform him of that, about 2 weeks, about a week and a half after the initial conversation, he contacted me. He wanted to get an update on the progress. I told him we should be able to put something on paper here pretty soon. He stated that y'all taking too long. Only thing y'all need to do is go out and buy some wigs with dreads and put them on the detectives and send them in the club. So I'm like, okay, this don't make much sense. So again, me and that lieutenant went to our captain, Captain Rucker, and informed, hey, this man saying that he wants us to put wigs on subjects and send them up in the club. And this, we cannot do this. This is not safe. So at that time, again, he told us, hey, y'all need to, when you see him, tell him about these complaints. At that point, we had no choice but to take it to our major. In the initial meeting with me and this lieutenant, Finley advised us not to inform our major that he wanted us to do this operation. This can be verified through that major and through that other lieutenant. So we had no choice but to take it to the major, explain to him what the chief was asking, what solution we had came up with. He then passed it on to a deputy chief that's now retired. They called him me. It was Chief Finley, the deputy chief, the major, the other lieutenant, and myself. We explained to Chief Finley that, hey, these are the concerns that we have with how you want this to be done, but this is another way we feel we'll get the same results. He said no, he didn't want it done that way. He wanted us to send a undercover officer in there to record this so they could come and testify before the council. I was like, sir, we can't do it that way because of these safety concerns. He stated then, well, because we brought up the cover team, he was like, well, you don't need a cover team because you're not doing any enforcement. And we explained to him, based off our procedure and policy, if you're going to use any officer or a CI in an operation like that, you must have a cover team in case something goes wrong. So he got mad, kicked us out of office. 3 days later, they were transferring me and that lieutenant and that major out of division back to patrol. They transferred me and the other lieutenant to night shift patrol and sent the major back to patrol. They replaced us. Combined, me and that lieutenant had over 18 years of narcotics experience. They replaced us with 2 sergeants that had never been in narcotics, never had any type of experience overseeing any type of operations or anything. Brought a move major, Captain Rucker, made him acting major, and brought over another captain that had, as individual, had more narcotics experience than me. Major Rucker and Finley presented him with these same things. This is what I want you to do. He saw the same complaints, the same issues that we saw. Shortly after that, he was moved from narcotics, and they brought another captain over there. And to this day, they're still trying to force these officers to go ahead and do these operations in a manner that's not safe for the officer, and then also put the city in a liability. Fast forward to the Department of Qualifications back in October 2020. every year we qualify with our handguns. Been doing this for 15 years since I've been here the same way. About a month before that, the qualifications, the range master usually send out the date that we would be doing qualification and the guidelines based off our policy. You go out, you qualify, you get 2 attempts. You must shoot a 76 or better. That was the policy. The first time, if you fail, you get a second attempt. The second time you fail, it's counted as an official failure when it comes to qualification. So Chief Finley ended up changing that policy during qualification. Him and Chief Reeves and other command staff went out there and qualified. Chief Reeves, she failed. She shot the first time, she failed. Shot a second time, she failed. At a drop of the dime, right down the spot, he changed the qualification. He stated that was a practice for her, let her shoot a third time. If you contact any retired officer, any officer that's been here any time, never has happened. The qualification has been the standard since I've been here. Since he's been here, Chief Finley has never, it's been many officers have failed qualification. He has never changed the policy when it came to qualification, but for some reason, he chose to do that. So the issue was, and why I filed the complaint, I got word from my command staff, or from my supervisor, saying that Chief Reeves wanted all of the write-ups for the failures in reference to the qualification in their office by Friday. So I looked at it like, wait, the policy was just changed where you gave Chief Reeves a third chance to qualify, but now you want us to write up the other officers that failed? Like, how can we come and punish somebody on a policy that was changed for somebody else to not receive punishment? I thought that put us in a position where the city can be open for lawsuits, because now you're showing favoritism, you're punishing one group, and you're changing stuff for the other group. That complaint was taken down to city investigation. I filed that through city investigation because in our policy, our qualification policy, it outlines the penalties for failing qualification, whether it's your first time or your second time. And what's important in this, it says that any officer who fails to meet departmental firearms standards in 4 consecutive qualifications will be terminated. And it says that officers will be suspended depending on days. And my thing was, how do we know that Chief Reeves wasn't at one of those points in her career, that she has failed and she met the standard to be terminated, or she met the standard to receive the 4 days being suspended, and that the chief actually changed that policy to prevent her from receiving that punishment. But you still want to hold others accountable, because Reeves, many officers feel because Reeves failed and his son failed qualification, that's the reason that he decided to change this policy at a drop of a dime, when this has never been done before. But the thing about what's going on here, it speaks to everything that's outlined in our handbook that the city is supposed to stand against. That's bullying, retaliation, hostile work environment. Everything that we're supposed to stand for as a city, and Chief Finley and his command staff is doing. And we came down before the city council to express those concerns to you guys, that you wonder why violent crime is up in the city, because officers don't believe in the leadership. That officers don't believe that they're going to get a fair shake when it comes to things. They demoted us off of a bogus off-duty policy thing, that if I had time, I would go through and explain to you why I say this was bogus and present evidence. Only thing they presented to city investigation who do their bidding is a interpretation of a policy. No facts. All the facts that we have to show that everybody knew what was going on. But when it comes to us black officers, they want to go for the jugular. But we had a white captain choke a man in handcuffs. He didn't get demoted or 20-day suspension. We had a white lieutenant that was accused of creating a hostile work environment by his entire division. He wasn't demoted or given 20 days. We had a white sergeant that was in a relationship with one of his subordinates. He wasn't demoted or suspended. He was actually promoted after that. So they changed the policy to say that if you're caught fraternizing your first offense, you'll be demoted and given 10 days. We had another white sergeant do the exact same thing under that policy. He just got 10 days. His demotion was taken off the table. Then we had two white sergeants. Alabama Power accused them of watching porn on their Wi-Fi. All this under Chief Finley. Accused them of watching porn on their Wi-Fi. They wasn't demoted or told they couldn't work off-duty jobs for a year. But you want to tell us because you cooked up a bogus investigation where you saying that nobody knew what we working when we have documentation to show you. In your own investigation, you had witness to say that it was approved for us to work dating back to 2014. And y'all chose to not to even interview the person who was the off-duty coordinator at the time to interview them to get those facts. And when I questioned Chief Reeves in the hearing about why didn't you question the off-duty coordinator, who they say, your witness, because we was never interviewed, we was never presented witness, or we never presented documents, why you didn't talk to her?
Talk to the council.
Why they didn't interview or talk to this witness, she said it wasn't important. This is your deputy chief saying that it's not important to gather all the facts before you make a decision that truly affects people's lives. All of that is on this recording from our hearing. Everything that was said is on this, that we thought we was going to have more time to present to you guys, but that's the type of leadership.
We hear you. That's all we can do is listen. We know what you're saying. Your time is up. We'll go to the next person, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Mackey, and I've been employed with this department now for 23 years. I've given my everything to this department in the streets of Montgomery. I've worked side by side with some of you guys out in these streets, beating the bushes, making a difference. All that we're asking for today is a fair shake. That's it. All these guys got up saying various different things on what happened to them as opposed to what happened to other officers. All we're asking for is a fair shake. That's it. I've been ridiculed by my family for the passion, compassion that I've been given to this police department and the time that I've given to the streets of Montgomery because of neglect to my own family because I've given my all here. That's what we do. All we're asking for is a fair shake to go out here and give the city of Montgomery citizens our God-given calling, which is to serve and protect the citizens of Montgomery in fairness. That's all we're asking. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
My name is Scott Morrow, and I'm a retired Birmingham police officer. And I started in 1986 and retired in 2006. And while I was a Birmingham police officer, I went to law school, and I got involved in representing police officers. These guys here, as I come to know them, I've been dealing with issues in Birmingham and surrounding area since 2007 when I passed the bar. But I've come to know these guys right behind me, and these are the best of the best. And I've dealt with many, many disciplinary issues. And I've dealt with city council, and I've dealt with mayors, and I've dealt with police chiefs and command staffs. But what I've seen is that oftentimes, council, while there may not be much you can do to intervene on these officers' behalves, because I don't understand how you could take two lieutenants in John Mackey and Antavio Ferguson and demote them when they're the leaders of your police department. You take two sergeants and demote them over some off-duty questions. But I hope that you take what they've said and not be misled by the command staff, because oftentimes an investigation is skewed and manipulated in a way that they want the leaders to see. And I'm here in support of them. I'm going to continue to support them. We have some Montgomery City County Personnel Board hearings next week on the 13th and the 14th. And so we're going to be discussing some of the issues that the officers brought here today. But I just want to ask that the council do what you can to support these officers. The officers in the field are so very important to your city. I've seen Birmingham deteriorate over time because of the problems with their morale. And those morale problems are generally when a leader takes a tactical decision of a police officer or an unintentional rule violation and turn it into discipline, when really the best thing would be mentoring or training. And that's the key to leadership, is getting those under you to work harder, not to make them not want to work. And so it's been extremely pleasing to see that the Montgomery City Council has given these officers this time to speak, because it is so very, very important. And I thank you for that, and hope that you can do what you can as city council members, representing your constituents who really need a good police department. Right now, the police are being maligned everywhere you turn. And it's unfortunate, because they go out there and they work hard every day for its citizens. And these guys are no different.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Preacher.
I'll be brief. First, let me make a clarification. I'm not disgruntled. I want to make that clear, because my son is a police officer and he received a reprimand that I don't agree with, but he wants to keep his job. I want to let you know that I have been speaking with these officers for almost 2 years. There are many more. They are afraid to come here because they will be blackballed out of fear. One young man, I don't even know his name, that was scheduled to be here from SWAT, the chief promoted him to keep him from coming, to shut his mouth. Okay? You have a lot going on in the Montgomery Police Department. And all of this stuff that you're hearing on the surface is not true. There's a lot going on. It's truly a hostile work environment. Can you imagine going into a hostile work environment, then put you on the street to deal with citizens or to respond to a call when you have been treated poorly by your supervisors? It's really, really sad that these officers out here, these young men were brave enough to come here today. They are still afraid of retaliation, you know? But today is the day that the blue wave is coming down. And officers are ready and prepared to speak, but they want assurances that they won't be retaliated against. And I'm here today to say that I support them now, and I have been listening to them for almost 2 years. And I know it's more than these 4 or 5 here today. I thank you for listening to me. I pray that you would consider everything being heard and, try to look into it. Because Montgomery is going to be only as safe as, as long as our officers are strong and feeling good about the jobs they're doing out there. These guys are putting their lives on the line. And then to be humiliated, and you're out there putting your life on the line, and this is what you get in return, something needs to happen in this city. I don't have anything against anyone. I always keep a clear mind. And I always avail myself to anyone who has some issues, not just in this arena, but every other arena. And I've heard it clearly for 2 years. This is nothing new to me. I already knew it for almost 2 years. I didn't push them to come here. I didn't ask them to come here. They asked me to come and stand with them. So I thank you for the time, and I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Preacher. Okay. I think we've heard. Here, one more.
Yes, sir. My name is Officer Fladon. I've been working with this department a little over 3 years, and this department is rampant with retaliation. I was in patrol for my per policy for the allotted 2 years on the street. I had done the shadowing program, worked overtime, and did everything that I could so I could be placed into the narcotics division. Once I was in the narcotics division, everything was fine. A new supervisor showed up, and he was wanting some of us to do some questionable acts. I made 2 formal complaints. I had tried going up through my chain of command. I tried speaking with the major, and I went to city investigations twice upon the matter. And the result was I was kicked out of narcotics, and I was put back into patrol. I have tried reaching out to my majors and the chief himself. I have written memos to get passed up, and every complaint that I've had has been heard upon deaf ears. In this department, if you make a complaint, then you are going to be punished, and those that you have complained against are going to keep the position that was handed to them solely because they know somebody higher up. This department does not care for its officers at all.
Okay.
One of these department's officers was in my house with a gun to my head and told me he would make me kill myself if I tried to leave. This department made sure that he was sent to peer support and was in counseling that day. After that incident, I had to return back to the street, to my district, because I had calls holding. And this was right after the unfortunate incident with Detective Pugsley, where the department failed her as well. This department wants us to do everything we can for the public and do what we can for DV situations and other domestic type of incidents, but the department does not care about us at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
My name is Renee James. I am a former police officer or sergeant with the City of Montgomery Police Department. And I myself can attest to...
Please stay close to your mic, please.
Yes? Oh, I'm sorry.
I can hear you.
I can personally attest to what these young, brave officers have complained about today. I was arbitrarily, very much so, arbitrarily terminated back in 2017 after I filed a lawsuit against the City of Montgomery Police Department for a number of things that the officers here explained today or complained about today. I will say that I am the sacrificial lamb. I didn't have these brave officers here standing with me at the time. Obviously, most of them probably didn't even know I was going through the things that I went through. About 2 months after I filed a lawsuit against the City of Montgomery, I was terminated. Chief Finley stated that I was terminated because I sent the email to him where the command disseminated an email asking why there was an issue with retention. And I told him, quite frankly, that I believed it was due to the administration. He said it was because, or that shortly thereafter I was terminated, like I said, because of that reply. But we know that that had nothing to do with the email. That was about the fact that I filed a lawsuit against the City of Montgomery. So I'm gonna make this short and succinct, okay? Nothing about what these officers have said here today is a lie. I'm here to tell you, there are some abject issues within that police department that need to be handled immediately, starting with the command staff member, Mr. Finley. I don't know what that may look like or what that will look like, what that may entail, but there seriously needs to be some checks and balances going on within that police department. These officers here are afraid, and I don't have a dog in this fight. Okay, I don't work there anymore, and I can't even get a job, even with the education and the diverse experience that I have, because Mr. Finley here has called people and told them not to hire me. I know that personally. But I will say that this is not personal. I don't hate you. I don't have an issue with you. I don't have an axe to grind.
Please talk to us.
I'm sorry. I don't have an axe to grind. Let me just say that. Me not being at that police department, to me, was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I can speak freely and clearly and coherently now, and I don't have to worry about being afraid that somebody's going to terminate me or retaliate against me. These officers, Mayor, are not lying to you. In fact, they have mitigated a lot of the things that are really going on at that department. They really are. And they really don't want to tell, I'm sorry, and they really don't want to express the things that are really the most egregious of the ethical issues, you know, that are going on within that department. because what happened to me will happen to them. I'm here to tell you that. And what they did to me set a precedent for why they shouldn't come forward. But I am thoroughly proud to see that these officers are standing up for what they believe in and standing up for what is right at the end of the day. Because if we don't take care of the police officers that take care of the citizens of this city, what are we doing here? I don't understand that. These officers put their lives on the line for a little pay, and then they have to deal with issues on the inside as well as the outside. This is absolutely the most disgusting issue that I can think of in terms of law enforcement. The fact that I had to live this, the fact that these officers have to live it. I'm here to tell you, y'all don't have to concern yourselves with speaking. Renee James will speak. Y'all knew that when I was there. You knew when I was there.
Talk to us. Talk to us.
And I am here to tell you, you see me, Mr. Finley, Chief Finley, sir? This little chocolate face, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And God bless these brave young men and women. I gotta go home.
Okay. That all? Thank y'all for being here. We've heard you. Appreciate your input. And we will hear. Okay? Thank you. All right, council, we got anything else?
One more, the YMCA about the Montgomery basketball. Is Mr. Speed here?
Good afternoon, City Council. My name is Leonard Speed. I'm with the Midtown YMCA, the YMCA Greater Montgomery. Wanted to share with you the potential collaboration with the city for the Montgomery Basketball League. This league will not be a traditional program, but a program that takes a deeper dive in helping youth develop beyond high school. Basketball will simply be a conduit and a format, a platform to help these young people achieve success beyond high school. And so with this program, we look to do youth development, collaborating with other community partners to address issues of truancy, issues of challenging with schools and family issues. And so this program goes beyond, again, basketball, but allows us to take a hard look at youth and their issues that might affect them for their future success.
Good. And this, how many teams would you have?
I'm sorry, sir?
How many teams would there be?
We would start with 8 teams,
8
2
teams?
divisions.
Would they operate from different districts of the city, or?
Yes, sir. So that's the intent of the program. We would initially start at the Midtown YMCA to grow the program, but ultimately the goal is to spread this program throughout the city so that we can serve students and young folks within their respective
Would this be
communities.
a Y program?
This would be a Y program run by
Great.
the YMCA.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. All right. Anybody got anything else? Adjourned to 5 o'clock.
Hold on.